What would happen if you just stopped wasting the opportunities that are in front of you? You'd be who knows how much more efficient.
Like, you know that you were meant to do something, like you were created for that. It's just that right now you just don't have the right resources to be able to do it. And because you don't have what you need, you decide, you know what, I'm just not going to do it right now. That reminds me of a story. I remember a friend of mine, Eddie, he came over to hang out with me. He wanted some coffee, and I was like, oh, dude, I don't have any filters for my pour over. And he said, oh no, yeah, you don't need filters. I can show you how to do coffee without it. And I was like, what? What do you, like, how? I remember he said, yeah, all you're going to need is the pot, the pour over, and a strainer, and some paper towels. So he showed me how to make the coffee without it. He said, so you get your paper towel, then you tear a square. You put the strainer on the pour over, the paper towel in the strainer, then you pour in the coffee grounds, pour over the boiling hot water, and watch the coffee drip. Yeah, that's very good stuff. I haven't taken my bike out for a spin in a while, so let's go ahead and take this conversation to downtown Tampa. If you're honest with yourself, many times your excuses or legitimate reasons, they begin with the words, I don't have the right software. I don't have the brains that she has. I don't have the creativity for it. I don't have the confidence to speak in front of all those people. I don't have like the experience for it. Not yet. I will eventually. And then once I do, then I'll start then. And basically what that usually means is that we never will, that we never do. Alright, so I decided to film this video in downtown here in Tampa because, well, I figured that it would be nice scenery where I could ride my bike and record along the way. A great idea indeed. That is, of course, until I started running into one issue after another. And issue number one was seagulls. These seagulls, wow. They were quiet just like 5 seconds ago.
Your rats with wings!
You guys ready? Okay, we're recording, guys. Ready? Good? Alright. Let's try that again. It's as if they got louder every time I pressed record, so I rode off in search of a quieter location. And it wasn't long before I encountered issue number 2. Florida heat. And not only that, but it was wildly humid, like sticky. And I can feel the sweat literally running down my back. Gross, I know, but this was my experience. So I stopped at this little spot for some water only to find that this guy only serves alcohol and soda. So I was like, okay, I'll order a soda only to spill the entire cup less than a minute later. Let's just say that this sticky hot bike ride was not at all what I imagined, so I decided, you know what, I'll go to a nearby coffee shop that I've been meaning to check out anyways, and I figured I'll get to try their coffee and then I'll just find a quiet corner and record. And this is where I encountered issue number 3, a CrossFit gym. So here's the thing, like the coffee shop was fantastic and the coffee was even better. But there was a CrossFit gym adjacent to the coffee shop blaring some seriously loud music. So I decided to pack it up and just head back home. Now, how you react in these moments, I would say is like super important because contemplating on the problem keeps you from creating a solution. Be willing to shift directions, even if that means that it's gonna look a little bit different than the original vision that you had. I want you to write this down. Done is better than perfect. So don't allow yourself to unnecessarily put things off. I can guarantee you it is never a good idea. So I want you to try something. I want you to think back. Can you recall a moment where you tried something for the first time? And it could be anything from food to something educational, jet skiing, or even coming to know God. And when you tried it, you said to yourself, man, like I wish I would have tried this like years ago. I think for the most part, for most of us, the answer is yes. And I want you to think about this, like it's almost never the other way around. Like depending on what it is, you almost never find yourself saying, man, I wish I would have just put that off longer. I wish I would have waited another year. And so many times you have to start with the little bit of confidence, the little bit of experience that you have. Here's an interesting fact I want to share with you. Did you know that the founder of Apple, Steve Jobs, knew just about nothing about the insides of a computer just 5 years prior to founding the company Apple? In fact, in the 1970s, he and his friends sold computers out of his garage, and technically not his garage, he was living with his parents at the time, but they sold them without a monitor, without a keyboard, and even without a casing to the computer. Yet in the 1980s, the company went from $7 million in sales to $117 million in sales. And do you know why they did that? Or you know how, I should say, do you know how they accomplished that? Because they didn't wait for the ideal situation. They simply just worked with what they had at the moment, and they pressed in and moved forward. And that's because nobody really cares about what tool you used or what circumstances you were working within. They just care about the end result. They don't care how you brewed the coffee. They just care that the coffee tastes good. That is like really good stuff. Does it look awesome? Is there excellence in that thing that you've created? You know, I want to use this opportunity to share a really cool scripture. The Bible tells us in Daniel 6:3 that Daniel became distinguished above all other high officials because a spirit of excellence was on him. Now, I'm paraphrasing a bit, but basically what the scripture is saying is that through him putting forth that excellence, that distinguished him above all other high officials around him. So I'm just kind of encouraging you to do the same thing. When you put forth excellence, it's going to separate you. It's going to be the difference between you and everybody else. Because again, people often value the thing that you created and not so much the thing that you created it with. I mean, like right now, there are people in the world making art out of junk. Actual garbage mixed with random everyday objects. They are literally turning trash into treasure. I can't think of a clearer proof than this to communicate that it's not about the resources you have, but your resourcefulness with whatever you have. Do it in excellence within your capabilities, within whatever resources you have available. Wouldn't you agree that you can still experience excellence whether you're at a bed and breakfast, small little Airbnb, or you're at a big 5-star hotel? Two completely different levels of resources, obviously. They still both are able to deliver an excellent experience. So I want to leave you with this quote by Zig Ziglar. He said, "You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start in order to be great." This day did not go, I'm just being honest, obviously did not go according to my original vision, my original plan. Sometimes you just have to kind of work within those circumstances. It's better to do that than to just completely be at a standstill. You know, so I want to encourage you to work with a spirit of excellence. Do that within the capabilities that you have today and get started now. Don't put it off for tomorrow. I'm pretty sure that's another Bible scripture. So I hope this video blessed you, my friends. I hope that it encourages you. Let me know in the comments below if this was helpful. Keep the fire alive.